Hello everybody, I hope the lighting isn't too bad, but I want to talk to you today about tackling my TBR. So my current TBR consists of all these books. These are all the books that I want to read as far as my TBR goes. As this year I really want to hit my goal of 60 books. So I didn't read 60 books last year. I unfortunately failed, and if you want to check out my reading list, you can check out my story graph. There you can keep updated with what I'm reading. First off, I just want to go through books that I just acquired. So I've bought some new books, and I think I'm going to put myself on a very subtle buying ban because I went a little bit crazy last year. Like, I've bought so many books, and I feel like I really don't need to own that many. This is one of my favorite TV series. It's Poldark by Winston Graham. I absolutely love the series. I've watched so many times. I absolutely love it. And if you haven't seen it yourself, I highly recommend. It's a beautiful series. I'm gonna read the synopsis for you in the back. Tired from a grim war in America, Ross Poldark returns to his land and his family, but the joyful homecoming he has anticipated turns sour. For his father is dead, his estate is derelict, and the girl he loves is engaged to his cousin. But his sympathy for the destitute miners and farmers of the district leads him to rescue a half-starved urchin girl from a fairground brawl and take her home, an act which alters the whole course of his life. So another book that I'm also reading is The Dreamers by Gilbert Adair. I think this is a fantastic read, and I obviously watched the movie first before I read the book, but I absolutely love the film, so I want to read this book. Gilbert Adair's novel is set in Paris. Oh my gosh, that's another reason why I want to read this book, is because it's set in Paris. In the spring of 1968, the city is beginning to emerge from hibernation, and an obscure spirit of social and political renewal is in the air. Yet Theo, his twin sister Isabel, and Matthew, an American student they have befriended, think only of immersing themselves in another addictive form of hibernation. That is a French word that I don't really know how to pronounce, so I'm just gonna skip it. Closure. Theo, Isabel, and Matthew gradually withdraw into a hermetically sealed world of their own creation, an Eris universe of obsessive private games, ordeals, humiliations, and sexual jousting, which will find them shredding their clothes and their inhibitions with equal abandon. The study of a triangle relationship whose perverse eroticism contrives nevertheless to conserve its own bruised purity, brilliant in its narrative, invention, and startling in its imagery. The Dreamers, now a major film by Bernardo, belongs to the romantic French tradition of Les Enfants Terribles and Le Grand Mulis, and resembles no other work in recent British fiction. The film is just so beautiful and aesthetic. The first time I heard about this movie was off of Instagram. There's this still of Theo, Isabel, and Matthew holding hands and running through a museum. I just think that is so aesthetically appealing. I just want to show you the new books that I acquired. So those two that I showed you, and then these I acquired as well. So I bought these two yesterday. So this is from TK Maxx, and oh my god, I got such a deal on it. I'm gonna show you how much I got this one. So this one is Orwell in England, George Orwell, and I got this one for £2.50. How crazy is that? And then this one, King Henry. This one I got for, can you believe, £2. So I could not pass these up for their cheap price. And I think this one is very interesting because I love books about England, and I've heard about George Orwell a lot, but I've never touched any of his works, so I'm excited to start this one. And then for this one, King Henry, William Shakespeare. I love Shakespeare. One of my goals this year is to read everything Shakespeare, like every single Shakespeare book that exists. I want to read it. The next book I acquired is The Beautiful and Damned by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This is a Penguin book. This is a very, very rare Penguin edition. This is literally, let's look at the year. So cool. This is literally from 1968. And one thing that I like about these books is you can only find them in England. You can't find them anywhere else. Like, for example, it says this edition is not for sale in the USA or Canada, so that's another reason why I gravitate towards these books, because you can't find them anywhere else. And they are so aesthetically pleasing, and I love the smell of old books. I love the smell. I've gotten so many of these bookmarks as well because I am a loyal buyer of Skillshare books, so I've gotten so many of these. One funny thing that I like about the old books is that the synopsis was inside the book and not on the back. So for these old-fashioned books, there wasn't really a synopsis, so there's no synopsis on it. The Beautiful and the Damned book, I've seen this so many times in the bookstore and never picked it up. So I'm very, very happy that I picked it up today. The Beautiful and the Damned describes a handsome young man and his beautiful wife who gradually degenerate into a shop-worn middle age while they wait for the young man to inherit a large fortune. Ironically, they finally get it when there is nothing of them left worth preserving. Alright, so the next book that I have on my TBR that I want to read is Dante the Divine Comedy. I've mentioned this in so many videos and still haven't read it. So this is the next one, and I think I already said the synopsis before, so I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to skip that, but this is the next book that I so want to finish. Next one is The Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky. This powerful translation of The Brothers Karamazov features an introduction highlighting Dostoevsky's recurrent themes of guilt and salvation with a new chronology and further reading. I've heard so much about this book. I've heard so many booktubers and readers talk about this book and how in-depth it is and philosophical and whatnot, so I can't wait to get my hands on it and actually read this one. It's quite a thick Bible of a book, so this one is obviously going to take a little bit longer to get through. Next one that I bought recently is Franny and Zoe. I heard Jack Edwards talk about this one and that it was fantastic. So this is obviously an older edition. This is from 1961. It smells lovely. I love the smell of old books. It's weird how books back then didn't really have a synopsis, but yeah, this is Franny and Zoe. I've heard so many funny things about it. I heard that it's kind of like Sally Rooney's Beautiful World, like Sally Rooney's Normal People. I kind of like the same concepts, so excited to read that. The next one that I want to read is Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice. In a darkened room, the boy sits, waiting for the story to begin. His companion is a young man, cloaked in shadow, his voice low and soft. Only the pure white of his collar is visible in the gloom. The story of this man's life is about to be told, a story of a vampire facing the dark stretch of eternity, cursed with an exquisite craving for human bloods. This one, the cover is so beautiful. I've wanted to read this for about a year and I still haven't gotten around to it, and as you can see I got the Skillshare Books bookmark because I go to Skillshare Books like all the time, but super excited to read this one. Next one that I wanted to manage to read in the summertime but didn't finish is The Lying Life of Adults by Elena Ferrante. Giovanni's pretty face has changed. It's turning into the face of an ugly, spiteful adolescent. But is she seeing things as they really are? Where must she look to find her true reflection and a life she can claim as her own? Giovanni's search leads her to kindred cities that fear and detest one another. The Naples of the heights, which assumes a mask of refinement, and the Naples of the depths, a place of excess and vulgarity. Adrift, she vacillates between these two cities, falling into one, then climbing back to the other. But neither seems to offer her any answers. This powerful new novel, set in a divided Naples by best-selling author Elena Ferrante, is a singular portrayal of the transition of childhood to adolescence to adulthood. Can't believe I didn't finish this in the summertime, but other things have gotten my attention. But I'm super excited to read this one too. Take a shot for every time I say I'm super excited to read a book and then I don't finish it. The other one that I've been wanting to finish, I've been reading this since October, is Woman 18 by Claire Coda. A young mixed-race vampire must find a way to balance her deep-seated desire to live among humans with her incessant hunger in a stunning debut novel from a writer to watch. Excited. Another thing, when I buy books, do you guys like just buy a book because of where a writer lives? Like, one of the reasons why I bought this book is because this girl is an English writer and musician, and usually when the author is something that I like if it's a place that they live, usually if they live in England, I'm more encouraged to buy the book than if the writer is from, let's say, the US. Like, if a writer is from the US, I don't know why, but I just don't really feel like I like the book. Next one is The Art of Dramatic Writing by La Josse Aigri. This is a very interesting book that I really want to read because it teaches you about writing and stuff like that, and I really want to educate myself more in that area since I haven't gone to creative writing school or anything like that, which I might in 2024. I might. Among many how-to playwriting books that have appeared over the years, there have been few that attempt to analyze the mysteries of play construction. La Josse Aigri's classic The Art of Dramatic Writing does just that, with instruction that can be applied equally to a short story, novel, or screenplay. Examining a play from the inside out, Aigri starts with the heart of any drama, its characters. All good dramatic writing hinges on people and their relationships, which serve to move the story forward and give it life as well as understanding of human motives. Why people act the way they do, using examples from everything from William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet to Henrik Ibsen's A Doll's House. Aigri shows how it is essential for the author to have a basic premise, a thesis, demonstrated in terms of human behavior, and to develop the dramatic conflict on the basis of that behavior. This is going to be such a great educational read, and I'm so excited to learn more about writing. Last but not least, we have Literature and Evil. I've been wanting to read this one for so long. This one's by Georges Bataille. I'm sure some of you have heard of him, but I really want to read this one like so bad. This is an essay collection. I really love reading essay collections. I think they're quite fun and enlightening to read. This one I got at the second-hand shop for £7.50. For a second-hand, £7 is a bit much. In this pioneering collection of 8 essays, Georges Bataille explores the value of evil as expressed in literature. He argues that literature must acknowledge its complicity in the knowledge of evil in order to communicate fully. Literature is not innocent, it is guilty and should admit itself so. Bataille is one of the most important writers of the century. He broke with traditional narrative to tell us what has never been told before. So that is it, everybody. That is my current TBR that I'm trying to tackle. If any of these books sounded interesting to you, please let me know what you think of it and what books are on your TBR. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Please subscribe as I'm making more and more content all the time. À bientôt, au revoir.